All right, just kind of getting things rolling here. Just have some fun and enjoy my Friday. Yeah, looks like we're live here on my other channel. I think the video should be starting live here. Let's wait for that to kick in. Okay, now I'm live here. Yeah, just coming on a Friday. Got the day off. My Fridays are free, and I spend most of it relaxing. And I'm doing this mostly for me because it's just fun. I've been told I have a face for radio and a voice for print, but a couple, I guess, months ago, I was googling around, doom surfing, whatever, doom scrolling, yeah, and I came across this book. Pull up on the screen here. Called The Gospel. And they have a whole, I don't know why that didn't work. The Gospel by Gen Z. And I went ahead and bought it. You can get the used copy for it's like $7.46. I bought the new copy because I like to have my pristine copy here. But anyway, I got it because I like to have fun. I've done biblical research for a couple decades now, for anyone that knows the real me. And anyway, I like to hang out, not hang out, but with the work that I do, I like to have a lot of fun with it because I try to keep all the crap out of the world. And I will spend time. I'm a Gen Xer, firmly in the Gen X world. But a lot of the people I work with are Gen Z, younger folks, and I figure it's my personal goal to educate them on the ways of Gen X, so they all get a healthy dose of Gen X and isms. But I also like to have fun, and I'll talk Gen Z talk, and it's funny in its own way to have an old guy like myself talk to them in their language, and we have a lot of fun. Anyway, found this book called The Gospel by Gen Z, and actually they have, I think, the entire Bible written in Gen Z, and I figured I would go ahead and just kind of read it, just because I find it funny, and people are free to watch or not watch. I'll probably watch it later and laugh my ass off, hopefully. I haven't read, I read like an excerpt of it, but I just kind of wanted to go through here and just read the gospel, and you may be able to pick up on it, depending upon your generation, and hopefully you find it as funny as I hope to find it. Anyway, part one, divide. Yeah, boy, it'd help if I can actually say the words right. Part one, divine dad lore. Chapter one, the beginning. That's not the gospel, but all right. Anyway, chapter one, the beginning. God made Adam and Eve, same kind, different font, in the image and likeness of his own PFP, and said, "What is up, my mammals? Go forth and vibe in this Minecraft paradise I seeded. You may take any W except from the tree of W's and L's, for then you will have W's, but also L's." While Fam was living their best life, the OP of OPs woke up and chose violence. He slid into Eve's DMs with that sneaky riz, and Eve let him cook, though he had not the ingredients. He said, "Why won't the top G let you take any W's?" She said, "Nah, that's not lore accurate." But the snake said, "Baby girl, he's gatekeeping all them dubs, me personally. I would not let that slide." POV, you realize you have free will, so she chose to secure a bag of W's and L's. And she ate and left crumbs and gave them to Adam. He saw his crust watching and said, "Bet," with Riz. When they took the L, it altered their brain chemistry, and suddenly they had the ick. But Divine G caught them in 4K and said, "Bruh, they really took the L and thought we wouldn't notice. DW fam, I got you. We'll come in clutch. The woman will have a chili who will solo the OP of OPs and say Uno reverse." Thus began the divine dad lore. I remember saying half this shit to my teams. Okay, chapter 2, Zechariah and Elizabeth. When Zechariah was in the top G's house praying, an angel appeared, and bro was shooketh, and he was about to nope out of there. But the angel said, "Bro, chill. God is feeling you and read your DMs." Oh, and read your DMs. and your wife Elizabeth will have a chile. You'll call him John, and it'll be bussin', for he will be declared valid by God, and he will eat and leave no crumbs. He will let the Holy Spirit cook, and will help many understand the assignment and pass God's vibe check. But Zechariah said, Bro, you playing too much. I'm way past beekeeping age. This is all major sus, respectfully. But the angel said, Bruh, you serious, RN? Right now? I don't know which one it is. I am Gabriel, the angel of the top G, sent to spill this tea to you. But since you said cap and demanded the receipts, you will be able to say less until you receive the receipts. So Zechariah wasn't able to spit any bars for 9 months. Later, his wife Elizabeth was feeling some type of way, and they conceived and had a chile and called him John, and Elizabeth said, God came in clutch for me. Oh, this is good. Chapter 3, Annunciation. Mary was pick-me girl for God and was simping for him in prayer. When the angel Gabriel appeared to her and said, Ayo, you're a real one and the top G is feeling you, but she thought his compliment was sus and gave him the side eye. So he said, Baby girl, chill. God sent me to tell you you've passed his vibe check. And low-key, he wants you to have the main character. You'd name him Jesus, and they will say he's him. The one prophesied in the divine dad lore who solos all and whose crushing it never ends. He will take the W from all his OPPs or ops. I think that's ops. I have no idea. I need to probably Google that. And his kingdom will go hard forever. She said, how can this be, since I promised him my body count will always be 0, respectfully. He said this ain't about cuffin' season, for the Holy Spirit will live rent-free in you, and your boy, Jesus, will be a divine bro. Besides, your cousin Elizabeth is with Chili, who is already older than a boomer, and whose husband is way past beekeeping age. Oh, there's a footnote on the beekeeping age. Let's see what it says. Some ancient manuscript add, for God doesn't even know how to take an L, he's just built different. Okay, so Mary said, bet. And Gabriel left her on red, and she let the Holy Spirit cook. All right, part 2. I don't even know what the hell this is. # GRWM. I have no idea what the hell that even means. Oh, okay. Chapter 4, Christmas. Okay, this should be pretty straightforward. Okay, Christmas. After Gabriel ghosted Mary, and she was vibing with the divine G within her, when Joseph realized something was sus, he was about to low-key ghost her too. But an angel spilled the holy tea to him, saying, Bro, chill, for the chili is of the divine G. So without saying a word, he said, say less. At that time, Caesar wanted to know how the math be mathin', so bro just casually created mandatory road trips for everyone. And Mary and Joseph yeeted from their hometown and skirted to the city of Bethlehem for the census. When they rolled up to the inns, there was no vacancies, so they popped that stable door open. Then Mary entered her motherhood era, and the son of the top G was born into the world. They named him Jesus, there was a footnote here, as Gabriel told them to. The footnote for Jesus, Latin for God comes in clutch. Now some shepherds were chilling in a nearby field when an angel pulled up to spill the holy tea, that the main character was born into the world, the one prophesied in the divine dad lore. Who would save us all from our elves? He was joined by a chat full of angels, and they were spitting holy fire. The shepherds, let them cook for it, was divinely bussin'. Chapter 5, The Wise Men. When the son of the top G entered his incarnate era, 3 foreign kings saw a sign in the heavens and understood the assignment. they went to the king of the Jews and spilled the tea about the new main character and asked for his at symbol so they could simp for him. So King Herod asked his scholarly simps, and they told him, at Bethlehem. So he told the three kings and gassed them up, saying, when you find him, tag me, so I too may simp for him. But he was secretly salty and sus. When the three kings found the divine bro, they declared him valid and said, go off, king, slay prophet of the top G. But they warned in a dream that Herod was sus and unhinged, so they left him on red and went home. When Herod didn't get the receipts, every shred of chill left him, for he was delaloo and salty that he could not throw hands with the divine chili. He took it personally and did not let that slide. His honest reaction, throw hands, every chili in Bethlehem, and thus he entered deeper into his villain era. An angel spilled this tea to Joseph in a dream. So Joseph woke Mary, and they took the holy chili and ghosted their native country until it was safe. All right, chapter 6, the presentation. Mary and Joseph held a holy baby shower for Jesus in Jerusalem according to the divine mod rules. Now a holy boomer named Simon lived there, who always passed God's vibe check. Therefore God promised him he would live long enough to see the one who comes in clutch. He pulled up to the top G's house that very day and saw the holy fam doing their holy baby shower. Suddenly the Holy Spirit vibed within him, so he picked up baby Jesus and said, precipitate, you top G, for you have let me see the main character. He who will fulfill the divine dad lore, for he will come in clutch, and he will hand out the assignment, but not all will understand. Thus he will manifest who are the real ones. Simon told Mary she had to take the L with Jesus, but he said do it for the plot. Just then Anna, the prophetess, boomer, pulled up, she who for decades was ride or die for the divine G, and seeing the divine chili, she spilled the holy tea that he would come in clutch. After the holy baby shower was over, the holy fam skirted back to Nazareth in Galilee. And holy bro went about his glow up quietly, always vibing with the divine G. Chapter 7, his holy house. When divine bro was 12, his fam took him on their annual Independence Day road trip. So they skirted to the temple in Jerusalem and vibed for the whole Passover feast. After all the holy bussin' was done, Mary and Joseph hit the griddle to Nazareth for a whole day. Is that griddle? Oh, it's gritty. Hit the gritty to Nazareth for the whole day. When they realized Jesus had given them an Irish goodbye, my guys were stressing. They said that tracks not. How did we lose track of him? And they retraced their steps to find out when he swerved. When they found him in the top G's house in Jerusalem, bro was just casually teaching the teachers and explaining to them the divine dad lore, for he had already entered his wisdom era. Then Mary said, bruh, you playing too much. You had us shook for 3 to 5 business days. And Jesus said, I had to vibe in my father's house. Didn't you know I must do it for the plot? But his parents did not understand the assignment yet. Mary, core memory unlocked, they went home, and Jesus was always a real one to them. He continued his glow up and became more and more based. John baptizes Jesus. When his cousin John was all grown up, he started going off saying, the kingdom of the top G is at hand. Don't be caught lacking. For if you're sorry for your L's, God will come in clutch with his mercy. But if you keep capping, saying you only have W's, niggle, you playing with your life. So he began to baptize whoever admitted that they were a hot mess before God. Then some religious Karens pulled up, saying, "Ayo, bro, you think you're goated?" But Holy Bro said, "Nah, fam, I ain't him. The main character will come after me. He is the CEO of being valid. And to be honest, TBH, to be honest, I'm not even worthy to simp for him." The unholy Karens didn't understand the assignment that John was fulfilling the divine duet chain. But many passed God's vibe check and were baptized by him. Jesus also pulled up with that holy vibe and said, "Bro, baptize me." But John said, "Bruh, are you for real? Right now? For real?" Or is a bunch of letters. "You probably meant to add uno reverse." Jesus replied, "Nah, fam, do it for the plot." And John baptized the holy bro, but it hit different. And there's a footnote. The footnote for different is the dove was a paid actor. Chapter 9, The Tempter. After this holy bro went out into the desert to vibe with the divine G alone in preparation to 1v1 the OP of OPs, now for almost 40 days it was a mood. And then the OPP of OPPs pulled up with his intrusive thoughts saying, "If you are the main character, turn this stone into bread, for surely you will eat and leave no crumbs." But Jesus said, "Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word of the divine dadlore." Then the OPP said, "Throw yourself down from the holy skyscraper, for God said he will come in clutch." But Jesus said, "You playing too much, for it is written, you must pass the divine vibe check." Then the Rizless one streamed all the kingdom of the world and said, "I am truly goated and run all these streets. Stand me, and I'll let you ride or die by my side." But Jesus said, "Bruh, you thought I was feeling you? Uno reverse. Now yeet from me, O OP of OPs." Then the devil ghosted him, and angels came in clutch. But Satan was typing. It actually says typing. I figured it'd say tripping, but it's typing. All right. Oh, okay, good. Chapter 10, The Wedding at Cana. Jesus and the boys were invited to okay, I gotta start over. Jesus and the boys were invited to a promposal celebration, and his mother Mary was too. And for a while it was bussin', but they started to run out of wine. So Mary spilled the tea to sacred blood. Blood is spelled B-L-U-D. And he said, "Bruh, you thought I was feeling you?" But low-key, he was in fact feeling her. And was merely speaking in cursive so that YK, I guess if you know, you know. So he entered his miracles era. So he entered his miracles era and was ready to get all the spiritual smoke. Then Mary went and told the servants to let him cook. Okay, it's got a footnote. Legend has it, she's still saying "let him cook" to this day. Look at Jingle. She's like, "What are you doing, Dad?" Okay, where am I at here? It's in let him cook. For she understood the assignment. Then Jesus told them to pour some water into cups and told the water to be extra. And the water said, "Bet." When they all drank, the master of ceremonies said, "This bride and groom passed the vibe check." For normally, a couple serves mid wine last, but niggle, this wine absolutely slaps. For he didn't know that Holy Bro secured that bag for them, but the servants had the tea. All right, part 3, the grind. Chapter 11, Beatitudes. Then Jesus entered his preaching era and started streaming. When the chat filled up, he began to cook, saying, W to those who aren't thirsty for this midlife, for they shall live their best life. W to those who take L's from this life, for they will receive an everlasting W. W to those who don't do others dirty, for they shall secure the eternal bag. W to those who want help passing God's vibe check, for he will say, bet. W to those who don't cancel others, for they will not be canceled by the top OG. W to those who have holy riz, for they shall pull the Holy Spirit. W to those who turn OPPs into bros, for they shall be called CEOs of peace. W to those who catch hands for being valid, for they will not be left unread by God. W to you when the OPPs be capping hard and do you so very dirty because you're my fam trust, you have crushed it and have the eternal W, for so they treated the real ones of old. And the chat spammed W and said, go off, King, because his teaching went hard. Thus blood began to trend. Chapter 12, The Prodigal Son. Holy Bro began to teach in parables, so that, if you know, saying, there was a spoiled bro who wanted to live his best life, so he manifested it by asking his dad for stacks. He said, Dad, here's half of all my money, uno reverse, and he received half of all his dad's money. Then he ghosted everyone and hit every club, pulling left and right with that rich kid riz. But he was always too thirsty, and soon he ran out of stacks. Then all the bussin' went away, and he had to earn his bread. But there was no bread, so he was in his feels mood. There was a footnote there. Footnote for mood. Some ancient manuscripts read, I felt that. Then he realized home was always bussin' for free, and that his dad was the only real one who ever stand him. So he entered his sorry era and went home to low-key apologize for being so out of pocket. When he pulled up, he prepared himself to catch hands, but his dad said, let's go, my boy is back! Now bro's older bro had no chill and told their dad, me personally, I'm not going to let that slide. Like bro was down bad and wasted all that money. Just because he was feeling some type of way, and for what? So how you gonna be throwing him a banger? Why you be emoting right now? But his dad said, bruh, life already threw hands with my boy. But he respawned, and now he can finally live his best life. Chapter 13, Our Father. Sacred Blood taught the chat how to pray, saying, when you need bread, don't look for infinite bread glitch, for the top G is your Father and knows how and when to come in clutch. But rather slide into his DMs like so. Our Father, who art the top G, hallowed be thy vibe. Thy W come, thy crushing it be done, on the streets as it is in heaven. Secure us this day our daily bag, and forgive us our L's, as we don't throw hands W those who do us dirty. And lead us not through the sus, but deliver us from the OPP of OPPs. And there's a footnote for the OPPs. Many translations incorrectly render the OPP of OPP as Ix. For if you forgive others who do you dirty, God will forgive you for all the shade you've thrown. But if you demand God cancel others, he will hold you accountable to all your receipts. Chapter 4, Adulteress. Ooh, spicy. All right. Sacred Blood was spilling the holy tea at the temple when some unholy Karens brought a baddie who they caught in 4K in a sneaky link. They said, King, this woman was caught going feral with someone who she wasn't cuffed by. The mod rules say we must throw hands with such snacks. Oh, there's a footnote. So, who caught her in 4K And why didn't they bring the broski? Sus. Why? And they let him cook, but only to get the receipts in 4K in order to get them canceled. So Holy Bro left them on red and gave them a divine side eye while he let his fingers speak in cursive in the sand. When they kept asking, he said, "Let he who has done no one dirty throw the first hand." So one by one they said their Irish goodbyes, starting with the fourth year bros, until the thirsty woman was the only one left. Then he turned to her and said, "Woman, where are the OPPs? Where are the ops?" Point of view. You're the one who has no enemies. She said they all ghosted me. So he said, then me personally, I'll just let that slide. Go and do not friend zone God again. And the footnote for that one is some manuscripts read, "And let God be not like thy brethren's to thee anymore." All right, chapter 15, the lilies. Holy Bro taught the chat in what manner to secure their daily bags, saying, "Do not stressin' over your bread or your fit, for God is not gatekeeping these things. Consider the birds, they aren't on their grind, yet the divine G provides for all their needs. And how can having no chill add even one day to you living your best life? And why are you always stressing over your fit checks? Consider the lilies in their cuteness overload. On God, I tell you, even Solomon's kingdom in its immaculate holy glow-up was mid at best compared to these. Therefore, don't become a hot mess over your fit, nor seek for infinite bread glitches, as they do whoever never DM God. For his divine dad reflexes are never lacking. But have holy golden retriever energy for the divine G, and he will unlock all these things for you. So, be stressing for tomorrow? No. Check. Let tomorrow be stressing for itself. Chapter 16, Woe to You. Jesus taught the chat about the mod saying, the unholy Karens have inherited the mod account logins. So follow their rules, for they come from the divine dad lore, but do not imitate those mods, for they are delulu. 1. Or I. To you religious Karens, having keys to the bussin' kingdom, yet you gatekeep it from both others and yourselves. Oh, it's an L. Sorry, bad eyes. L. To you unholy Karens, trying to convert every last commenter, but make them twice as delulu as yourselves. L to you Cap'n Karens, who say it's not that serious to lie on God as long as you let the truth live rent-free in your mind. L to you salty Karens, tithing on the daily, but refuse to forgive your bro even one slight. L to you blind Karens, stressing over your fit checks, but don't make your heart immaculate. L to you grown up Karens, trying to be holy snacks on the outside, but within you is nothing but a spooky, scary skeleton. L to you Sigma Karens, for you say your fam were ops, OPPs, I have no idea, to the real ones of old, therefore you testify that you are the fam of the OPPs of old. O house of Karen, how often I tried to cuff you, but you swerved. On God I tell you, as long as you leave God on red, you will never see him typing again. Chapter 17, Get Behind Me. So all you Catholics out there. Jesus told the chat, soon the religious Karens will throw hands with me and they will have me unalived. But the divine G's dad reflexes will kick in, and he will come and clutch for me, and I will ghost the tomb on the third day. For I have the infinite life glitch. But first, I must take this L to fulfill the divine dad lore, for this is a canon event. Peter said, bruh, may God come and clutch, and may you always live your best life? For Peter was doing too much. But Jesus saw the chat watching, so he turned to Peter, who he surnamed the Rock, and gave him a bombastic side-eye, and said to him, Get behind me, OP of OPPs, for you don't understand the assignment, for your plans for me are not lore accurate. Then Jesus said to the chat, Hear me out. If you would stand me and secure the eternal bag, accept your L's so the divine G may turn them into dubs. For if you cling to this midlife, with what hands will you catch eternal life? So don't be caught lacking when the son of the top G pulls up. Chapter 18, The Rich Young Man. Rich young bro went up to Jesus saying, Teacher, what must I do to become divinely based? Jesus said, let the divine dad lord live rent-free in your life. When he asked which mod rules to follow, Sacred Blood said, don't unalive, don't have side chicks, don't secure others' bags, don't cap. But give dubs to your father and mother, and be real one to all. Blood said, I already crushed it with these. How am I caught lacking? Jesus said, if you want to become even more valid, start giving broke boy and let the poor live their best life. Him, cries in rich kid. Nail, you playing too much. So he took the L and left, for he would rather gatekeep all his bread. Holy bro said how hard it is to pass the vibe check when you trying to live your own best life. The disciples were shooketh and said, Bruh, then who can pass God's vibe check? Holy bro said, of yourselves you can only take L's, but the CEO of W's will help you take every dub. Chapter 19, The Den of Robbers. They entered the divine G's house, but someone said to Jesus, Sir, this is a Wendy's, and Holy bro was salty with a holy saltiness. So he manifested his main character energy and said, Bruh, y'all thought God was feeling ya? He's about to get all the smoke. Trust. Then he made some ad hoc chanclas. I gotta redo this one. Oh, God. Like, every word is like, I can't believe it. All right. Then he made some ad hoc Then he made some ad hoc chanclas and yeeted all the money changers out and unsecured their bags. He said, It is written in the divine dad lore, my house shall be a place to vibe with the top G, but you have made it a place for OPPs to skirt about. Someone holy Karen said, Nah, jit trippin'. Blood's down the most and for no reason. If the divine G stands, you doing this manifest it right now. RN, whatever that means. Jesus said, Yeet this temple and I'll unyeet it in 3 days. This isn't about the temple. They said, Broy's the Lulu. This temple took decades to cook. So the Karens were shook because the people stand holy bro, for his teachings high-key hit different, and he had that strange holy riz. For some, this was a core memory, but for others, a new fear was unlocked. Yet the chat protected him at all costs. All right, chapter 20, Woman at the Well. Jesus was chilling by a well when a baddie pulled up to draw some water. Now their people had beef, so when Jesus asked her for a drink, she found it sus. Holy bro said, if you knew who I am, you could ask me and I would satisfy your thirst forever. She said, what are you, built different? Because, Nigel, this well ain't that easy to work. Jesus said, this well is a thirst trap, but the water I give alters your brain chemistry. When she said, bet, for it was noon, Holy bro said, go bring your husband. I haven't been cuffed yet. Cap, you've been cuffed 5 times. You must be sent by the divine G. Okay, spill the tea. How do we manifest? Crystals, zodiac? Like, the Egyptians believed the most significant thing you could do in your life was die. I don't even know what the hell WBY means. Wibby? I don't know. Sacred Blood said you could start by believing the truth. She replied, whatever, I don't care. The main character will spill the tea. Jesus said, bruh, I'm him. She was shooketh and immediately went live and spilled the tea to all the chat nearby. They thought it was sus until they saw him. Then they believed that he was the main character. Chapter 21, Anointing for Burial. Some days before Independence Day, Jesus was chilling with Simon, the canceled Karen, and the holy siblings Lazarus and Martha were there. This was the same Lazarus Jesus came in clutch for earlier. Now their sister Mary pulled up. She was all in her feels because she was tired of being for the streets and doing God dirty. So she washed Holy Bro's feet with her tears and hair, for it was a holy GRWM. But Judas Iscariot was not gonna let that slide, and said, "Bruh, that perfume was worth a few stacks. We could have gave it away for that kindness content," and he got the other bros salty about it too. But he was capping hard, for he was major sus, and he often used to low-key steal their bread. Jesus saw that Judas was being out of pocket and said, "Nah, fam. Nigga, what she did is so based. You can post kindness content anytime, but she did it for the plot. On God, I tell you, wherever the gospel is shared, this story will be reposted in her honor." Chapter 22, The Good Samaritan. One time, a scholar put Jesus to the test, saying, "How do I enter the bussin' kingdom?" Jesus asked, "What does the divine dad lore say? How do you negotiate with the text?" He responded, "Simp for God with your whole self and be a real one to your neighbor." Jesus said, "Fa, do this, and you'll pass God's vibe check." But not wanting to take the L, the professor said, "Now what does neighbor mean in the original Hebrew?" The parable saying, the kingdom of the top G is like student loans. One man owed a clean $7 billion. Now there's a footnote. These are the actual figures used. Oh, I missed one. When Bruv is acting up is Peter's bro Andrew. Okay. So Bruvy, I guess, is his younger brother. I don't know. All right. One man owed a clean $7 billion. When he couldn't pay it back, the bank repoed his stuff. But he said, "Hear me out. My degree is useless." So the bank owner had pity and forgave his debt. Later, he came across his bro, who owed him $14,000 and said, "Pay it all back right now." But Blood was the manager at the same Taco Bell as himself, and defo couldn't afford 14 stacks. So the first bro started throwing hands with the second, for that day he woke up and chose violence. Now the bank's owner was there and saw the whole thing because he had been waiting for one of them to take his order. So he said, "Nah, it doing the most and for no reason, for I was chilling with him, and yet he switched up so fast with his bro." Then the banker had all Blood's things repoed. Blood cries in entitled. Sacred Blood said, "That's what's up. For all who are not found chill like that, W your bruv." Chapter 24, Two Paths. Sacred Blood explained how to live your best life, and in that let me start over. Sacred Blood explained how to live your best life and in what manner to properly manifest, telling the chat these parables. Everyone who lets my words alter their brain chemistry are like those who learn green flags from red. So when the OP of OPPs tried to riz them up, they swerve and have no trauma to dump. But they who merely let my words live rent-free in their heads are like those who don't want peace but problems always, for when the gaslighting begins, they quickly become delulu. Again, Holy Bro said, "Beware of how you cook, for all are cooking, whether they know it or nah. But not all pay heed to what ingredients they use. Beware that your riz is true, and you pull what is just." Once, Holy Bro was vibing with two sisters, Mary and Martha. Now, while Martha was cooking, trying to make it bussin', Mary was vibing at the feet of the Holy Bro as he cooked. So Mary said, "Bruh, you're for real gonna let my sister sit there while I'm doing the most, and for what?" But Jesus said to Martha, "Bro, chill, for does not all bussin' come from me?" Chapter 25, The Wicked Tenants. Jesus told a parable. Against the unholy Karen saying, an influencer from ancient times went viral at 50 mil, but he was a real one and loved to vibe with his chat. When he went on vacation, he shared his login with some smaller influencers he knew. After some time, he wanted to vibe with his chat again, but the influencers changed his login and blocked him. So he had some of his bros DM them, but they blocked them too. He sent more bros to DM them, but they reported them for hate speech. Every time he sent a bro to DM them, they would catch strays or get canceled. Finally, he asked his bestie to come in clutch, figuring surely they'll respect my BSF. But they said, bruh, it's his bestie from of old. Let's hack his phone and read their group chat. For they decided not to be part of the problem or the solution, but that they were going to be the whole problem. Now tell me, said Jesus, what will his influencer do? The religious Karen said he will get all the smoke and find others in collab with who won't do him dirty. Jesus said facts, but this isn't about influencers. Then the Karens were salty, for they knew he just threw shade. They tried to cancel him, but the chat protected him at all costs. Chapter 26, Lost Sheep. The Karens were salty and said Jesus low-key be vibing with thotties and creeps. But Jesus said, bruh, y'all be playing too much. Do you really think they're for the streets? All you see are red flags, and you cancel so fast. But that's not how you're going to get peace. Consider our boy, Sean, little bro, he just spawned, and he's saying, can I pet can I pet that dog? There's a footnote. Little bro, that's a whole bear. We don't need a Karen, but rather a real one who will protect him at all cost. Let the will of the top G live in your heart rent-free, that you should have no enemies, for when the Delulu see clearly as you do, all will emote with the top G. And that footnote is Eminem been real quiet since this chapter dropped. Chapter 27, House Divided. When they brought a man who was nerfed by a demon, Holy Bro yeeted the spirit out of the man, and the bro was unmuted. The chat wondered if Jesus was the main character, but some Karen said nay, for he yeeteth OPPs by the power of OPPs. Sacred Blood said, bruh, I literally can't even with this. If it's by the OPPs that I yeet out OPPs, then how does your own fam yeet out OPPs? Therefore, they shall judge whether y'all be trippin' or nah. For if the OPs of the OPs are the OPs to OPs, and they will pop the OPs of the OPs, and when they stop, I'll be. And it's got a, can't even read what, some hashtag or something. When one bully McGuire pulls up and puts some dirt in your eye, he will miss the part where that's his problem. But if one like Anatoly comes in clutch, he will lift you back up, carry you out and clean house. Therefore, when the Divine G slides into your DMs and you see that he's typing and trying to cook, see that you do not report his page for hate speech. Chapter 28, 10 Talents. Divine Bro told a parable saying, the number one influencer went on vacation, so he gave 3 logins to some bros to help with the grind. To one, he gave a page with 500,000 followers, to another 200,000, and to another 100,000. When he came back, he asked his bros, WSG, how's the grind? What's up, G? Oh, how's the grind? The bro with the 500,000 page said, I made 500,000 more by crushing it with dance trends and lip syncs. Broski said, let's go, bro. We should collab on my main. The bro with the 200,000K page said, I made 200,000 more by doing some sketchy comedy skits and dad jokes. Broski said, that's what's up. Let's collab on my main, Broski. Then the bro with the 100,000K followers page said, be for real, nobody can work with a mere $100,000 page, so I just turned off your notifs and left everyone on red. The influencer said you should have try not to cringe trends, but since you tried not, behold, you are cringe. Actually, So he said, lose my number, and he blocked the gatekeeper. Chapter 29, the Sower Parable. After the chat was full, Jesus told them a parable saying a major creator collabed with some smaller creators. With one girl, he did a dance trend, but she was self-conscious, so she left it in her drafts. With another, he did a fit transition trend, but she heeded the haters and deleted it at only 300 views. With another, he did a lip sync trend, but then started only doing ads, so everyone unfollowed her. Finally, with one, he did the try not to cringe trend. She posted it, ignored the haters, let it cook, and it got more than 50 million likes. Holy Bros fam asked what this parable meant. He said, I speak in parables for the real ones so that if you know, you know. The creator is like when a 10 DMs a baddie saying WSG, for he sees the 10 in her when everyone else sees a 3. Leaving post and draft is like her not giving him her number because she heard he was a gaslighter. Deleting post too soon is like ghosting him after a few days because her sus bestie said he gives her the ick. Only doing ads is like giving everyone her number, trying to live her best life, but leaving him on red. But the one who put in the work and went viral is like when she recognizes his Riz, patiently let him cook, and gets cuffed. Chapter 30, The Rich Fool. Someone in the chat said, Ayo, CEO of WSG. Tell my little bro to quit playing. Split our inherited bread, for he was salty and low-key stressing. Holy Bro answered, who made me CEO of What's Good? Then he told the chat, bread ain't life, fam. Bread ain't life. The chat let him cook, and he told them this parable. An influencer made so many stacks one year, he said, let's go, my grind is over. Time to live your best life and secure a Lambo, because we're here for a good time, not a long time. But the Divine G said to him, bruh, you didn't understand the assignment. Nor what here for a good time and not a long time means. For behold, tonight I will check all your receipts. Who did you come in clutch for besides yourself? How's that Lambo going to get you to Bussin' Kingdom? Sacred Blood said, that's what's up for all y'all who don't secure God's bag first. Chapter 31, Depart From Me. Someone asked the Holy Bro, will many vibe with the Divine G in his Bussin' Kingdom? Jesus answered, make sure you have the right number so you can get the address. Because Niggle Mini will text him saying, bro, drop the Addy, but will receive the reply, new phone, who dis? And they will be stressing hard saying, bruh, we spilled the tea about you, even when the people say, stop. We cancel people for you. We chilling with you every weekend for a whole hour, and for what? But they will only see the reply, bro, I legit don't know you. This is Emma. Make sure you have the right number, for I promise you, you do not want to vibe with Emma. Chapter 32, The Unjust Judge. Sacred Blood told them a parable, so that they would persevere in DMing the Divine G and trust in his algorithm, saying, there was a judge in a certain city, tell me you're corrupt without telling me you're corrupt. Now a woman who lost everything went to him to shoot her shot, saying, I need you to come in clutch right now. But Unholy Bro said, nah. So she kept spamming the same thing, and he just kept saying, nah. After 3 to 5 business days, he finally folded, saying, my anger issues just can't with this. Whose car are we going to take? How much faster will the Divine G come in clutch when his real ones DM him likewise day and night? But when he does, will anyone still be found typing? And 14. Okay, so the saying my anger issues just can't with this. The footnote here, it was given Doctor Strange with Dormammu. Dormammu? Chapter 33, Calm in the Storm. Holy Blood and his fam got into a boat, and he took a nap. Then the sea and the wind were being extra and playing too much. The disciples didn't pass God's vibe check, and were caught lacking, and were stressing hard. So they woke him and said, bruh, you just going to let the storm cook? For they were unafraid they were going to take the L and be unalived by the sea and wind. So Jesus said to the storm, "Bro, chill." And the storm said less and stopped vibing. Then Jesus told them, "Have more chill, for it's not that serious. Trust." They said, "Bro, what? How was that not difficult for him? In fact, it was barely an inconvenience." So they were shook and said, "Hold up, is he him?" Chapter 34, I Am Not Worthy. When Jesus started live streaming in the Capernaum, a highly successful YouTuber entered the chat for his BSF was sick, like actually. So he said, "Mr. Jesus, my BSF is sick, like actually." Some of the mods pinned his comments so Jesus could see, and they added, "By the way, bro, is a real one. He for real deserves help." When Jesus saw the comment, he said, "D-Dub, I got you, fam. On my way." But again, Streamer Bro had his fam spam the chat for him. They said, "Bro," said Niggle, "I'm not actually a real one. And a real one like you vibing with me, this ain't it. But I have mastered movie magic, and I know you're for real like me. But instead of editing videos, you edit reality. So just drop the update right now, and my BSF will be unnerved." Jesus said, "Hey, bro's trust was not lacking. Okay, bet." And bro's BSF was immediately healed, and the chat caught it in 4K, for bro is live streaming the whole thing. Chapter 35, Zacchaeus. Jesus passed through Jericho, where Zacchaeus lived. Now Zacchaeus had done everyone dirty and retired early, and he became that unemployed friend on a Wednesday, or a Friday. When he heard Holy Bro was passing by, he wanted to see what all the fuss was about, but he couldn't, for he was short. Suddenly, bro had golden retriever energy for Jesus, so he climbed a tree just to see him. Jesus was here for it and said, "Hey, yo, let's vibe tonight." Zacchaeus was down and said, "Say less," but the people who he defrauded said, "Bruh, it's giving unfair, for this man has been an OPP." So Zacchaeus entered his redemption era and said, "Chat, here's a quarter of all my stuff, double it and give it to the next person. And if I have stolen anything from anyone, behold, I will use girl math and restore it back to them 4 times. And Jesus said, "That's what's up. This man passes the vibe check, for my salvation is rated E for everyone." Chapter 36, Legion. There was a man who let all his intrusive thoughts win and let a spooky, scary skeleton live rent-free within him. So he was so cringe and always threw hands at himself, for every day he woke up and chose violence. One day Jesus pulled up and told the rishless spirit to yeet from the man. The unclean spirit said, "Why you trying to do me dirty, son of the top G? Let me cook." Holy Bro said, "What's your name?" Unholy Bro said, "My name is the Goated Ones, for we are Sigma." The Sigma saw some swine nearby and said, "Don't yeet us to Hades, but rather into these swine." Jesus said, "Bet." But the swine didn't match their Sigma energy and yeeted down a cliff into the sea. Some witnesses started live streaming to the nearby towns and told the chat all that had happened. When they saw that Jesus had done all this and that cringe bro now had chill, they were stressing hard, and they demanded Jesus yeet from the place and skirt out of town. And the footnote for skirt out of town was LOL what? Chapter 37, Multiplying Loaves. His 12 besties were on the grind preaching and healing so much that their social batteries were empty. Jesus told them to recharge with God in a quiet place, so they got into a boat and tried to give an Irish goodbye. But when they got to the other side of the shore, they were met by a chat full of people. Rip their notifs. For their holy riz was so strong that they accidentally pulled the sick, possessed, and hopeless. Jesus had empathy for them all, but they had no top G to come and clutch for them. So he unlocked their perfect health and spilled the holy tea to them all. At evening, his fam said, "Bro, it's late. Send them all to go get a girl dinner or something I don't know." But Holy Bro said, "Nah, you come and clutch for them," and they all replied in perfect harmony, "Bruh, are you for real right now?" For there were 5,000 men besides women and children, and all their bread would still have been lacking. Jesus said, "How much bread you got?" Andrew said, "There's a little bro with 5 loaves and 2 fish. So Jesus took the bread and told it to be extra. And the bread said, Bet. And the whole chat ate and left no crumbs, and had 12 full baskets of crumbs left over. So they said, Hold up, and the math ain't mathin'. And the footnote there is the bread was a paid actor. Chapter 38, Walking on Water. After Jesus fed all those families using his infinite food glitch, he told his bros to yeet into their boat and skirt across the sea while he himself said bye to the chat. When he finally went offline, it was late. So he went up into the hills to slide into God's DM saying, WSG, now the sea was acting up all night, so much that their boat only got about 3 to 4 miles from shore. When Jesus saw that they shook and that the sea was playing too much, he came in clutch. So he pulled up to their boat, walking on the water, and meant to Jubaslide right past them. When the bros saw Jesus walking to them at 3 a.m., they said, Nah, it's a spooky, scary skeleton, and were shooketh. But Jesus said, Bro, chill, I'm him. This storm is not that serious. Trust. Peter understood the assignment and said, Bro, let me Jubaslide on the water too. And Jesus said, Bet. So Peter duetted Jesus and manifested walking on the water. But when he looked down, he said, Nah, bro, undo. And accidentally emoted right into the water. So Jesus said, Bruh, why were you caught lacking? Didn't you know your crush was watching? And he took him into the boat. Suddenly the wind was chill like that, and they were ashore. And they said to each other, Bro's literally him. Chapter 39, Paralyzed Friend. Divine Bro was cooking, and it was so fire that the house was packed even out the door. 4 real ones pulled up, and they brought their nerfed friend, for he could not walk and needed Jesus to drop an update. The chat was so full that they couldn't get near sacred blood, but they said never back down, never what? Never give up. So they installed a free skylight in the place and brought the nerfed bro down through it and gently yeeted him to the ground in front of the holy bro. When he saw what they carried, he told the nerfed bro, My son, your L's are forgiven. Now some of the unholy Karens thought to themselves, We caught him in 4K blaspheming. Who can forgive L's but the divine G alone? Jesus knew they thought this and said, Not that I need to flex, but that you may know God has mods. Then he turned to the man and said, Go forth and skirt. And the man did the Jubaslide all the way home. The nerf bro was unnerved, and the Karens were unnerved, and the whole chat was served. Chapter 40, 12 years. When Jesus pulled up to the other side of the sea, the chat filled up so fast, for they were waiting for him. A man begged Jesus to come and clutch for his only daughter, for she was 12 and was about to take the final L. As they were on the way to his house, point of view, the chat is so full that you're all shoulder to shoulder. Someone entered the chat who was bleeding for 12 years. She became sorry for swerving the divine G. So she let her holy intrusive thoughts win and touched the fringes of Holy Bro's cloak. Immediately her bleeding was canceled. Jesus said, Pause, who touched me? Peter said, Bruh, the chat is scrolling way too fast to know who, but the woman's silent comment was pinned, so she owned it. Jesus said, You were so real for that. Someone interrupted him saying, Let Holy Bro be, for rip your daughters, bro. But Jesus told the man, Don't fear, trust the divine algorithm. When they pulled up, Jesus kicked out the paid actors, took the girl's parents and 3 of his mods. And he said to the unalived girl, Be unalived. And she said, Bet. And the chat said, And Sacred Blood said, Give her something to eat. Then he told them, You must keep this low key. And the narrator, they did not, in fact, keep this low key. Chapter 41, The Unfinished Creation. As they scurried past a man born blind, they said, Professor, is this because of his L's, or is he catching strays from his parents? Jesus said neither but, so that God may manifest who's him. Then Holy Bro did something seemingly out of pocket. He spat on the ground and then made clay out of it and used it to paint eyes onto the man. Then Jesus said, Go and wash in the pool called It's Sending Me. So he did and was today years old when he could first see. So Bros and Karens saw the man seeing and said, Hold up, did someone drop an update on this man? Others said, Nah, he's just twinning with the blind bro. But he said, Nah, fam, it's me, for real. They said, Who unlocked your sight? He said, Jesus, but he ghosted us. So they brought him to the house of Karen, for it was a Sabbath, and the Karens thought it was an L to do stuff on that day. They asked him to spill the tea again, and he did. Some Karens declare that Jesus was in fact not valid for this. For some real ones said, hold on, hold on, hold on. His act was based, right? And where does base come from? The valid one, the author of all that's valid and base, bro. Who's going to look at me and you're going to tell me that I'm wrong? Am I wrong? He gave sight to a man that was born blind, Doug. Grow up, bro. Grow up. Then the Karens asked the man, what do you say about him? The unblinded man said, he's a divine dad lord narrator. Continued. Oh, I'm pulling a Biden. I'm reading the caption. Oh, good now. Okay, they thought he was capping hard about being born blind, so they asked his parents, but they said no cap. And no cap, footnote. Some ancient manuscripts read line through it, and I can't read whatever that image is. But about Jesus they said less, for the Karens were salty and resolved to cancel all who stand him. So the Karens told the healed bro, don't cap, for we all know this man takes L's left and right. He said, fam, who knows if that's facts? All I know is I was blind, and bro said, X, blind, check, can see. They said, okay, but like how? He said, bro, I already told you. Why you asking? You trying to follow his page? They were salty and said he only followed Moses. For we know Moses is a verified page, but this man does not have the blue check mark. Bro said, nah, because that's wild. Y'all say who knows if he's verified, yet he unlocked my sight. Everyone knows God stands not OPPs but real ones, and that such an update as this has never dropped before. So as the maths, Jesus must be the real one. They said, nah, you and OP mansplain this to us. And they blocked him so fast. When Jesus heard that the bro was blocked, he pulled up and said, do you stand he who comes in clutch? But bro said, fam, what's his at symbol? What's his sign? Sacred Blood said, I'm him. And unblinded bro simped for him. All right, chapter 42, Lazarus. Okay. When Jesus was vibing with the chat, some real ones pulled up and said, Ayo, come in clutch for our boy Lazarus. But Jesus said, nah, it's not that serious. And they vibed for 3 to 5 business days, so when they got there, it was too late for his boy Lazarus. Dead bro's sister Martha came to Jesus and said, bro, why were you lacking? For you could have prevented this, if you were here. So Jesus told her, your brother will be unalived. And she said, I know he will live his best life after this life. But Jesus said, I am the best life. Then they went to the tomb, and Jesus wept. Mood. And he looked up and said, appreciate you, Divine G, for coming in clutch. I know that when I ask anything, you always say bet. Then Jesus said, Lazarus, pull up. Hades yeeted Lazarus so hard, and he jubicided right out of the tomb, and the people were shook. Chapter 43, Transfiguration. Jesus took 3 of his besties up a mountain, and he dropped the hardest reality edit, and they thought they wouldn't notice. For he had a supernatural glow-up, and his face and clothes were divinely extra. When they saw this, it altered their brain chemistry. Suddenly, Moses and Elijah were vibing with Jesus, so Peter tried to match their energy and said, hey, yo, y'all trying to chill or nah? Just then, a bright cloud entered the chat. The cloud was a paid actor. Just then, a bright cloud entered the chat, and a voice came from him and said, this is my son. He's him. Let him cook. The 3 bros were low-key terrified. Then Jesus yeeted his glorified era, and Moses and Elijah skirted back to heaven. So they gritted down the mountains. Jesus told them, gatekeep all these facts you have witnessed until the CEO of life glows back up. The 3 bros wondered what glowing back up meant and said maybe it's the friends we made along the way, for they still didn't understand the assignment. Playing chess, part 4. Almost done. All right. The Eucharist, chapter 44. Jesus told his fam the OPPs are about to throw hands with me. The OPPs were in fact planning it low key. A few days later, it was Independence Day, and Holy Bro told Peter and John to get a VIP room. When Jesus and the 12 pulled up in Sacred Blood said, Niggle, I've been looking forward to this canon event. After their pregame meal, Jesus said, take and eat this bread, for it's my body. Like, actually. In the same way, he took the cup and said, take and drink, for this is my sacred blood of the new covenant to forgive L's. Don't ever stop reposting this moment. Yet one of you is Major Sus, and low-key and OP Judas said, don't eat all my margaritas, and left the chat to meet up with the OPs for some bread. Then the mods argued over who was more based, but Holy Bro said, nah fam, to be truly based, you must be a low-key real one as I have to you. Then Jesus said, fam, niggle y'all about to be running for a canon event that I must 1v1 the OP of OPs, but Peter said, quit playing, you know I'm ride or die. Jesus replied, nah fam, y'all be running so fast, but after you pull up again, gas up your bros. Oh, gas up your bros. That was it. Chapter 45, the agony. After dinner, they spit some holy bars, and Jesus took his 3 BSFs, Peter, James, and John, aside, and said, I so pale for niggle, I'm going through it. Chill over here while I DM God and don't be caught lacking. So he went about a stone's yeet from them, and began to DM God, saying, I know you're built different. Day 12,053 of asking for another way to save them. Nevertheless, if this must be a canon event, then bet. He went to his 3 BSFs and found them sleeping, for they were too in their feels about it all. So Sacred Blood said, bruh. And 3 times he went back to pray again, word for word, bar for bar. Again, he caught them lacking in 4K, so he said, never back down, never what? Peter said, never give up. But Holy Bro said, it's time. The sus one has come, and Judas pulled up with a crowd of OPs. He told them the one I dap up is him. So he dapped up Jesus, but that dap was personal. So the OPPs started throwing hands with Jesus, and Peter came in clutch and started popping the OPPs. Jesus said, nah, Peter, this ain't it, for I must solo the OPP of OPPs and wrest the dub from his hands. Don't you know a chat full of angels would pull up if I asked? So Jesus healed the popped OPP, and he let them arrest himself. For Holy Bro was playing chess while they were playing checkers. I've said that I don't know how many times. Chapter 46, Night Trial. Point of view, the OPP's down doing the most trying to cancel you, and for what? So they brought Jesus to the house of Karen in secret. They put Holy Bro under trial, but didn't live stream it, and Caiaphas, the main Karen, said, bro, spill the tea. But Jesus said, I've been live streaming for 3 straight years. Just ask those who stand me, respectfully. At that, one of the simp guards threw hands at Holy Bro, but Jesus said, how am I caught lacking? Bring the receipts. Then they brought in witnesses, but they all were capping hard. They threw shade at our boy, but the colors didn't match. So the Karen said, are you the main character? Jesus said, perchance. But the Karen said, you can't just say perchance. Are you the son of the divine G? Jesus said, I'm him. The Karen said, we caught him 4K blaspheming. Let's bring the receipts and get him canceled. So they began to cover his face and throw hands with him, saying, prophesy, O main character, whose hands was thrown, LOL. Meanwhile, Peter was cosplaying as an NPC at the guards' fire, and they said, bro, didn't you pop my cuh just a minute ago? But Peter said, on God, I wasn't with Jesus. They said, cap. He said, ISTG? They said, nah, jit lion? But Peter was doing the most and said, for real, I don't even know who Jesus is. At that moment, he realized he was caught lacking, as Holy Bro said he would, so he ran and entered his sorry era. Chapter 47, Pontius Pilate. After the sun woke up and they brought Jesus to the governor, and Caiaphas said to Pontius Pilate, what up, counsel? My name is Caiaphas, and this is my colleague Annas? He came to you asking what you can't. We came to you asking that you cancel this bro Jesus, for he is totally lame and cringe. So Pilate asked Jesus, WSG, what's up, God? What's up, God? I guess. But Jesus left him on red. Pontius said, for me, is how Jesus literally isn't even typing. So Pilate asked the Karens, but what did bro actually do wrong? And the unholy Karen said, bro, he's for real in OPP, trust. But Pilate said, double it and give it to the next person. So they brought Jesus to King Herod, who was in town. Now Herod got salty because Jesus wouldn't simp for him, so they put a zesty fit on Holy Bro and sent him back. Pilate told the chat bloods, innocent, y'all doing too much, but Karen said Jesus is a traitor and part of the rebel alliance. Pontius slid into his DM saying, bro, you trying to be king or nah? Jesus said facts, but my kingdom is built different. Everyone who is the facts recognizes my number. Pontius said, what even is facts? So Pontius said, y'all want me to pardon Jesus or nah? For they were allowed one free get out of jail card per year. But the Karens were unhinged and said free Barabbas. Barabbas is Aramaic for rich kid. Now Barabbas was a traitor and part of the rebel alliance. So Pilate said, then what about Jesus? Nobody. The unholy Karens, cancel him. So the governor tried to make Jealous look mid and had him scourged. And his guards gave Holy Bro a crown of something of thorns. Can't read it. And they dressed him in a royal fit, and Bro was majestic in his glow down. And they mocked him, saying, look, he's him, LOL. But social anxiety feared him. Then Pontius brought Jesus out, saying, Esse homo? Which is Latin for fit check. But Jit was done the most and for no reason. For the Karens neither backed down nor gave up, and said this bro said he's the son of the top G. Now Pontius was more shook and said, bro, who even are you? But this time Jesus did not cook. Pontius said, bro, just tell me, what's up, G? Well, I guess WSG. For I can pop you or free you, for man's was stressing hard and new blood was valid. But Holy Bro just said, bring the receipts. And if you ain't got none, then why are we even talking? So Pontius again asked the Karens to just chill. But they said, crucify him, he's an OPP. Pontius said, bruh, you want your king canceled? They said, nah, fam, we stand Caesar, like you should be. And they threatened to cancel him unless he canceled Jesus. So Pilate sent for them and said, bet, with unjust riz. Chapter 48, the crucifixion. So Holy Bro went out carrying his own cross. So when his body was lacking, Simon of Cyrene carried. Now the whole chat filled up as he went, and it was filled with holy girlies in their fields for him. When Holy Bro got to the place called, death, they made a sign for him that said, feel better? And it was written in tomato, in Halloween, pumpkin, and in window. The Karens in the chat were saying, pick a struggle, little bro. Let the top G pull up and save him. The guard said, let him come in clutch for himself, LOL. And they nailed the Holy Bro to a cross at about 9 a.m. So he said, top G, forgive them their L's, for they've been gaslit by the OP of OPs. Now 2 thieves were also about to be unalived, and they were also firing shots saying, bros and LOL. But one of them said, hey, yo, wait a minute, bros, actually valid. And he said, Jesus, you dropped this. And Sacred Blood said, today we vibe. Then at noon, daylight, he was caught lacking in 4K, for the sun said, niggle, this ain't it, y'all, and noped out of there. Then Holy Bro saw his mom there with his BSF, and he said, woman, behold your boy. And his BSF, he said, let your mother be mothering. Sacred Blood then said, I'm thirsty. They gave him some wine mixed with emotional damage. So when he tasted it, he said, yeah, no, I'm good. Then Holy Bro snapped the divine G saying, I have no idea what that even is. Looks like it's in some weird, something, which is Aramaic for, but like why though? Some bystanders didn't read the comments, so they said, LOL, what bro's calling Elijah? Wait, let's see, maybe Elijah will pull up. Then, knowing he had fully fulfilled the divine dad lore, Holy Bro posted the whole draft of his life and waited for it to upload to heaven. Finally, Bro said, "Father, into your DMs I slide my spirit." The way his soul left his body, and he was no longer typing. The centurion who caught this in 4K was rizzed up in spirit and said, "Wait, what, bro? Was really him investing at 7 likes?" For many real ones were there at the foot of the cross: Mary his mother, Mary her sister, Mary Magdalene, etc. Then everyone left the chat and went offline, for they were in their fields because of all these things. Joseph of Arimathea, a real one, gassed himself up, went to Pontius, and said, "Let me bury our boy Jesus." So Pontius said, "Bet," and some unkarens buried Holy Bro. The girlies saw the garden he was planted in. The Karen said, "Nah, put guards there too, 'cause they all sus," so Pontius again said, "Bet." Then they sealed the tomb so no one could secure the bag and stationed NPCs outside it as guards. Mission failed successfully. Chapter 49, the Resurrection. 3 to 5 business days later, Jesus hit Control Z, for by his life he earned an Uno reverse card and used it on death itself. The woman who saw him unalive in 4K went to the tomb to give his body a proper glow down, and behold, biblically accurate angels spawned and rolled the stone back. They said to the woman, "Bruh, have you not yet understood the assignment? Holy Bro took the dub from Hades like he said he would, and it was sending them, so they ran to the 12 and spilled all the tea. But the bros thought they were just in a silly, goofy mood. But Peter and John knew they weren't playing, so they yeeted to the tomb and said, bunch of characters, and they skirted back. But Mary Magdalene stayed and said, mood. Or, well, it's sad, mood. The footnote, some ancient manuscripts read, "I felt that in my soul." It was she from whom Jesus yeeted 7 demons. Some angels asked her why she was in her fields. She said, "Because they took my BSF and I don't have his @ symbol. For she caught holy feelings as Christ's love was so bussin'." Then she turned and saw Holy Bro, but she didn't yet know he was him, and he said, "What you need, baby girl?" But she thought he was the gardener. So she said, "What's his sign, @ symbol? I need it right now. Please don't let him give me an Irish goodbye." And sacred blood said Mary the scream she scrumped, for now she knew it was him for real, for real. But he said, "Do not blow up my notifs, for I have not yet handed the dub to my father, but go tell my fam I'm about to pull up." Later, Jesus met 2 of his bros on a road trip. They also didn't know he was him, for he hit his glow up. And he said, "Why y'all in your fields, broskies?" They said, "Bro, haven't you heard? It's on everyone's FYP and his 100 million views." Jesus said, "Heard what?" That Jesus was a real one of his divine dad lore, but the Karens had him permanently canceled, and we were hoping he was the one who comes in clutch. But Jesus said, "How do you still not understand the assignment? That the main character plays chess while they play checkers," and he unlocked the meaning of the divine dad lore to them. So they said, "Bro, let's chill for a while," and it was fire. And Jesus used a transition edit to suddenly be somewhere else. And they said, "Bro, what? He was really him for real, for real." Similarly, Jesus just casually appeared to many of his BSFs, and when some of them spilled the tea to Thomas, he said, "Nah, y'all doing too much for this prank, quit playing." But a week later, Jesus pulled up and said, "Hey, yo, Thomas, what's up, God? I don't know, WSG, Thomas, oh, how many times did he poke Jesus?" Yes. Finally, Thomas said, "Okay, Niggle Divine Bro is valid for real, for real." Holy Bro said, "Do you stand me because you received my sign? Based are they who have not my sign yet stand me." The Ascension, chapter 50. I think this is the last one. After this, Peter went fishing with some of his bros, but all night the fish had been swerving. Early in the AM, Jesus said, "Broski fish on the right size," and they said, "Bet," and caught 153 fish in 4K. And that is oddly specific. After breakfast, Holy Bro said to Peter, "Do you stand me?" And he said, "Bro, you know who raised up my soul?" Jesus replied, "Be a real one to your bros." Then again, Jesus asked, "Have you caught holy feelings for me?" He said, "Bro, you know my soul's feeling some type of way about you." Jesus replied, "Come and clutch for your bros." The third time Jesus asked Peter, "Have I pulled your heart?" Peter said, "Bro," which is emotional damage. "You know you have cuffed my heart." Jesus replied, "You must walk so they can run." Now before Holy Bro went home with his eternal fam, he pulled up to his 11 BSFs and breathed on them saying, "Receive the sacred vibe. Whatever L's you cancel, I also cancel. But whatever receipts you keep, I also keep." Then he told them, "Go forth and gain followers for my page, making sure to pin my teachings for all to see. And trust, I'm not ghosting you, nor will I ever leave you unread." Then with arms raised in a blessing, he jubislid up into heaven, where he gave the holy dub to his father. It was the biggest I Am Him performance of all time. Thus, Holy Bro secured power to help us catch W's and swerve L's. And that is the gospel according to Gen Z. I hope you enjoyed it.